Hi, Diane.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, I have a really quick question for you.
Ask away.
You know how it's Women's History Month right now?
Yes.
Do you think we'd have time to honor Dorothy Kyler? Like do something for her maybe? Because she's got Alzheimer's and I guess she's going downhill quickly.
Oh, I think that's a great idea.
Okay. John Kyler just emailed me and told me that, that was happening. I was like, maybe we could do something. It kind of seems like it makes sense. So
a proclamation or something.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
The first and only mayor of Idaho Springs.
Yeah. She worked here for like 50 years, right? She was clerk or?
I don't know that she was ever clerk. Dorothy Dykeman, however.
Oh, that might have been what I was thinking.
She was the city clerk and city treasurer for a very long time. But Dorothy was mayor.
Pretty cool.
I know, I never knew her. I mean, I had met her a couple of times, but.
He said she's 93.
Oh my goodness.
We were just talking about whether it's going to snow 60 inches.
Well, it would certainly solve the drought situation, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we could have fireworks then.
Yeah. We'd have 8 feet of snow and then nothing else for the rest of the year.
We just like to do it all at once now.
Right. Shades of 2003.
Yeah, that's right. This is scaring me. You're really starting to scare me here. Diane, I'm Craig Eicher with it.
Craig, I'm the city clerk for the city of Idaho Springs.
Uh-oh. You got lost.
Oh.
Is he our new rep?
I think so. He must have taken, what's his name's place?
I don't know who you're talking about. Preston.
Yeah. He's been there for a long time. Preston. I think the thought of the scary snow must have scared him off the Zoom.
He said he lives in Coal Creek Canyon, so he's probably fixing to get a lot.
Yeah.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
We were just talking about our upcoming 60 inches of snow.
Snow apocalypse.
We should make, that's what we need is chili at City Hall.
Yeah.
Chili and cornbread.
Yeah, but you're going to be out of here on Wednesday, so you'll miss it.
Yep, we're going to go to 80 degrees.
Shut up.
We're going to do nothing but eat cheeseburgers, basically, I think.
That sounds like a plan.
My daughter refuses to eat anywhere but In-N-Out in Arizona, so I see a lot of that in our future.
Well, you could basically eat their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, couldn't you?
Pretty much.
Do they do breakfast?
I think so. Everyone, it sounds like council's running about 5 minutes behind, so they're still coming, but they're not quite there yet.
And they thought they could do it in 15 minutes. Uh-huh.
Too many talkers. Did they get that other camera installed, John, up at the water plant?
You know, I do not know. I didn't check with the Justin up there today.
I can take it up there too. It's just locked. So he told me he could do it, but it shouldn't be too hard.
I'm sure Justin can probably figure it out.
Yeah. John, are you ready for 60 inches of snow?
Sure.
Apparently that's what's happening. So we'll see.
Ready or not, it's gonna come one day.
Jonathan, where did you actually see that forecast?
It was on the Denver Post. It's not a forecast. I think that's the problem, is that they're saying it could be if the modeling sets up, but right now I think they're only calling for like 12 inches.
Yeah.
But 60 inches sounds much more fun and exciting. Although John probably doesn't think so.
I don't think that sounds like fun. It's too much. It's a little much for me anyway. It's going to be a lot for everybody.
Jonathan, where in Arizona are you going?
We're going to go to Buckeye. My wife's parents just got a house down there, so we're going to help them move in. We may or may not go to a Rockies game. I'm not sure if I can support the Rockies yet this year.
Where's Buckeye?
It's just south of Phoenix, so like just a little bit southwest, probably about 45 minutes from the airport there.
So is that like near Peoria?
Yeah, in that same general area.
Oh, okay. So I've got family in Peoria.
We've gone down the last couple of years to go to spring training and really enjoyed it. And then they, found out that their house in Golden is not worth $7 like when they bought it. So this is going to be their retirement thing. And we're looking at flights like $20 to fly there pretty much. So we told them we'd go help out.
Gosh, that's great.
Yeah, should be fun. I feel a little bit bad if we miss the snowstorm of the century here for my kids to not be able to sled and play and do all those kinds of things, but that's all right.
Oh, no, you won't. Don't even pretend like you will.
John, did you paint that painting on your shelf there? Behind you?
Yeah, you bet.
It's pretty nice.
It was a color by numbers.
I got some trash art today. Well, not today, last week, but it's a really old, I don't know if you can see it, Loveland poster. Like from the 80s or the 90s, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Might be worth a lot of money.
I know, that's what I was thinking. It's pretty cool. I don't think anybody else has one of those. So, and Zach took all the art out of my office, so. think 5 minutes was optimistic. It's gonna be at least 7. It's too bad we don't have In-N-Out though. No, I'm thinking about it.
Have you gone to the ones in Denver yet?
No. The line's supposed to be was like 6 hours at a time or whatever. Not
Yeah,
that brave. Yeah.
Shorter yet or not?
They had a bunch of COVID, like 168 cases of COVID too. So they had kind of a rough opening, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
I have not had an update from them yet, but I would anticipate they'll be here pretty quickly, I hope. Hi, Lorraine. Council is in executive session and they've been taking a little longer than anticipated.
Hi, Jonathan. Nice to see you tonight. How's it going?
Oh, good. Thank you for helping me with that grant the other day.
Oh, you're welcome. Hope you get it.
I hope so too. I just found out we probably got another one from GoCo for trails, so that was kind of exciting.
Great. That's great. Good. Well, I'll unmask when when my item comes up. I'm going to go get the agenda now and see where it is.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going on mute.
Jonathan, at least it'll be nice down there for you.
I'm excited. You ever get to go down there to see your family and everybody, or?
You know, I get down there about every other month.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
My dad is, my mom passed away in December. And so I've been trying to get down to check up on him, and they're both 90.
Oh.
So
Did you grow up, or is that where you're from, or?
no,
Okay.
no, I grew up in Littleton,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, but it's nice. I was just down there 2 weeks or a week and a half ago, and it was, 75 degrees, blue sky, sunny, just fabulous. So
I'm excited. I'm excited that they have a house down there. We can kind of go hang out for weekends or whatever.
yeah,
I'll do that.
yeah.
We're looking at the drive. The drive's not terrible, really. It's like 8 or 9 hours, I think, or something like that.
From here, I used to do it from Summit, but it was like pretty much right on 11 hours.
Ooh. How did you go from Summit?
through
Did you go
Moab.
back down? Did you go back down to 25 or?
No, just go through Moab,
Oh, and cut off
go
the
out to
corner.
70. Yeah, go out to 70 and then straight down through Moab and straight down, and you run into, you pick up I-17 there in Flagstaff.
Hmm.
So, but it's a neat area.
There's a wildlife area right by their house, and it's supposed to have good trails and things like that. So we were gonna go check that out. And then
Another really good place to go is a place called Spur Cross,
okay,
and it's kind of near Carefree.
oh,
So it's northeast Phoenix area.
it's on that big loop thing they've got on the road, right? Because the road in Phoenix, the highway is like a big loop, right? Or a big circle or something.
That's 101.
Okay, all right.
And
I
take
know
it they're
enough
just
to be dangerous down there. Like I don't, I know like if I get onto the loop onto 101 there, I end up where I need to be eventually, even if it takes forever. But
yeah, we're about to, what main road off of 101 are they on?
I can find out. This is our first trip over there. Oh, hold on. So it looks like we take Highway 10 to, or Interstate 10 to 85 is like the most direct way. So it's west. I guess it's a little bit more west. It's over
Okay.
by Palo Verde and just west of Avondale.
Okay. So my folks lived like 101 and Bell Road,
Oh, okay.
right near the In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, I'm looking at that area right now. How long have they lived down there? Did they retire there? Is that how it went, or?
Yeah, they bought a house on a golf course
Oh, cool.
down there, and so we actually kept the house. My dad's now in assisted living, so.
Hey, Jonathan, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. The last meeting was,
I was going to see if you want me to help you with your camera, like troubleshoot it maybe, and see if I can get it working a little better.
Well, I really appreciate that. I think I really need some Goo Gone and then Windex. I think I'll be good.
Okay,
That's like gum from the back of the sticker.
gotcha.
Hi, Craig. Sorry we're a little bit late getting back to you here. Hope you're still hanging around. Are you there, Craig?
I am here and ready to go whenever.
Let's see if I've got all my council back on.
Happy to do it. Hello, Mayor.
Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Still missing Jim.
Jimmy's on the phone, or Jim's on the phone, sorry.
There's John Curtis. That's everybody. Chuck, there's Chuck. Yeah, I think we have everybody. So this is our Monday night work session. This was supposed to be a 30-minute work session. We've deferred our second item to another time. And who we have with us today is Craig Eicher. He is, I'm sure that we've all remember and have been introduced to, Preston Gibson. He was our governmental liaison since I've been here. So he retired not too long ago. Our new representative here is Craig Eicher. Andy and I had a very good, probably over an hour conversation with him. Was it last week or maybe the week before? To talk about the things that have gone on with Xcel Energy, the good things mostly, not so much bad things. And he was very pleased that he was stepping into a community that, one, was a great partner with Xcel Energy, and Xcel Energy being a great partner with our community. What we wanted to do is have Craig come on and just introduce himself, meet the council, understand what his job is, and his support moving forward in our community. So with that, Craig, I'm going to give you the floor. You want to take a few minutes and just introduce yourself and what your job is.
Well, thank you, Mayor Hillman. I appreciate that very much. As the mayor said, my name is Craig Eicher, and I'm what they call an area manager. I'm in charge of our relationships that we have, that Xcel Energy has with our local communities, particularly our city and county governments. So it's great to meet you folks. I want you to know that I'm your primary point of contact for anything related to Xcel Energy. It's going to be another busy year for us. In particular, we have a lot of construction going on. The entire state is under construction, it seems, and we're involved in all of that as the primary utility in our service territory, of course. And so I just want you to know, if you have an issue, if you find, obviously your staff has a good connection with our staff, but if you have an issue that is raising to the level of city council, the mayor's level, don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll get involved and I'll see if I can help work things through. Okay. Your staff, and Mayor and Jonathan and others have my contact information. I think some of the things that I want to make sure that you folks are aware of is that our company, in addition to doing a lot of construction and replacing our gas system and doing a lot of investments in renewable energy, we're also working this summer again on our third year of wildfire mitigation. And that involves all of our mountain communities. And we're doing a pretty aggressive replacement program for our wooden poles. And I think it's gone pretty well. We've had some hitches. We've had perhaps we're dropping the ball sometimes in our ability to notify everybody who's going to be affected, for example, by a power outage. These pole replacement projects can involve multiple hours of outages for some customers, and it's because, as you know, the environment that we have these poles in, our electric system being up along mountains and in rocky areas require helicopters and cranes and things like that that can end up requiring long outages. But the most important thing is that once we're finished with this work, we will have replaced tens of thousands of poles in our mountain areas, as well as other devices, insulators that we find through our inspections to be cracked or in any way at all potentially a fire danger. So this is going to drastically, and it is already drastically reducing our fire danger. And I think that that's probably something that our mountain communities need to know, so that when we look at the occurrences that have occurred, that have happened in California, we can feel that this state is really trying to be very proactive on that issue. So I want you to know that. If you don't mind, if you have just a moment or two, I'd like to show you a couple of quick slides. It's not going to take me long. I just wanted to ensure that you also know that what we're doing right now is investing heavily in our system to bring the state of Colorado into what we are going to be calling our clean energy future. Here is the three primary legs to the stool that Xcel Energy has as our foundation in Colorado. We're going to lead the clean energy transition. We're going to enhance the customer experience, and some of that is related to just me being here available to you, but also at the individual customer level. But then we're going to do all of this by keeping our bills low. I'll speed past this, but this past year we've invested quite a bit in Colorado, as well as the rest of our service territory, in getting our system ramped up for the COVID and responding to it. It's been, as everybody else on this call knows, a big challenge. But I think this is what I really want you folks to have a better handle on, is that we, in 2018, established a vision for the state of Colorado that would bring us to 80% carbon reduction by 2030 and 100% by 2050. So by 2050, by mid-century, all Xcel Energy customers will be served by 100% carbon-free electricity. This was, at the time, the most aggressive and bold set of goals set by any major utility in the country, and we're still very happy that we're leading the pack on this. I'm happy, obviously, if you want to raise your hand and ask me a question, I'll be glad to answer them. But this is the center of what we're doing right now as a company on the electric side, but also keeping our bills low. As you can see, we've already achieved quite a bit of this goal. And in all of our air emissions, our coal ash, carbon emissions already 44. Actually, this is old as of last week. Our carbon emissions in Colorado are now 51% lower than they were in 2005. So we're more than halfway to our goal of 100% and well on our way to that 2030 goal of 80%. So already on our way. I think this is important to let everybody know that Xcel Energy is proudly the state's largest taxpayer, but we also invest quite a bit in our local communities. As you can see, we have quite a few jobs here in Colorado, and we spend the majority of our money here in Colorado with local providers and vendors. This is an important part of our economic support of economic development in each of our communities. And we have a vision for our electric vehicles future. As many of you know, that we already have installed and got permission to a couple of years ago through the General Assembly to install charging stations. And we're doing pilot projects around the state. I know, having talked with the mayor this past week and staff, that folks have your own visions for having charging stations. We're going to work with you on all of that, as well as all of the other things that you're trying to achieve. And finally, saving energy, I think, is probably the most important thing that we do, because the more you lessen the demand on the electric system, the less we have to build and charge our customers for. So we've already saved enough energy that is equivalent to several coal plants since we began this path 15 years ago. I'm pleased and proud to let you know who I am, and here's how you can contact me. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me whenever you need anything related to Xcel Energy. As the mayor knows, we're working on a couple of, let's see if I can stop sharing because I don't know how to do this. I really, oh no, here we are. As the mayor knows, I'm going to be working on a couple of things to help Idaho Springs figure out its big construction projects around the CDOT lots. We're going to be working with you on LED streetlights and several other initiatives, and I'm excited to be working with you on that. And now I'm just having a hard time figuring out how to get back out of this. I apologize. Does anybody have any questions for me while I figure this out?
Well, I don't have a question, but I would like to thank you, Craig, for coming on and meeting with Andy and I and John. Council, some of the projects that that Craig was referring to is our parking deck. We've got big power lines running down the whole length of where we want to do this, so he's well aware of that. He's going to work with us to come up with a good plan. We know that it's going to cost a lot of money to bury those lines. A lot of difficulty with a high pressure gas line in Idaho Street and things like that. The other thing, we talked with Craig about replacement of our lights in our parking lot. Once CDOT repaves that and stripes it, I feel that the lighting back in our parking lot is inadequate. I don't think it's safe for our customers and or our residents and or our employees to be walking in that parking lot at night. It's just bad. And we want to bring something in that complements what we've done on Colorado Boulevard. So we're kind of talking about the same type of light and moving those to LED as well. We've talked to Craig about replacing the lights on Minor Street. You know, we have those lights and we were told several years ago that we couldn't hang plants on them anymore because of the weight limits on them. So that's another thing. I think that it's time that we should start talking about replacing our lights downtown as well. And Craig is very willing to work with us and guide us through this whole process. Any council questions for Craig?
Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. Thanks very much. Well, I can't wait to have the chance to come up and walk around town and meet you folks in person. I live in, as I've told Mayor Mike, I live in Coal Creek Canyon, so I'm not far away, and I'm certainly in the same general elevation and environment as you folks. I'll be looking forward to this weekend to see what kind of snow totals we're going to be amassing around here. I'm putting the chains on my snowplow tomorrow. So I'm quite a neighbor. I understand your environment and love your town. It's beautiful. And I hope to see you folks in person soon.
All right. Thanks, Craig. All right. Before we go into our regular meeting, trivia time. Does anybody know who the highest electric user in our county is? Scott, you can't answer that.
Henderson Mine.
Do what?
Henderson Mine.
Diane got it.
Woohoo.
They told me that they pay out like over, I don't know what it was, like $100,000 a month or something. I don't know exactly, but the number they threw out was like, holy moly, really? They said, oh yeah, they use a lot of electricity up there.
I could look it up for you, but I'm not allowed to tell you. So.
Okay. Any last questions for Craig? All right. Thank you, Craig, so much.
Have a good night, folks.
Looking forward to our partnership and moving our community forward and working with Xcel Energy into the future.
Likewise. Have a wonderful meeting.
Thank you. Okay. Does anybody need a little break before we go into our regular meeting? I'll give you 3 minutes if you need it. Mark, okay. Let's meet back here. Let's do 5 minutes, 7:15. We'll start our regular meeting.
Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
They got a little bit of a late go at it today, so They're just a
I
little
see that.
behind.
I see that. No worries.
Where's your bike?
It's being used. It's out of the shop. It's ready to go now. I'm about to drive. Actually, I'm gonna put a storage rack over there for getting some of them out of the garage. Hey, I had a question for you about Craig Eicher there,
Yes.
Excel Energy. Just think about asking them for a little donation for the trail system.
I think it's definitely something we could do. I could ask or that's probably a good mayor question.
I'm happy to reach out to him. I didn't want to interrupt that little session, but it was
Let's
apparently you guys have something new going on
Andy,
with them.
Yeah, well,
Andy likes
hit
it.
him up. I like it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you know, he's a new guy. He wants to make a good impression. So
Exactly. Send me his email address. I'll reach out.
Okay. Doesn't Gary's office look naked without a bike in the background there?
it does.
I can't decide what to do back there. My wife had an office over there and she moved out to an upstairs room.
Oh.
So I don't know. Yeah.
John had to keep everybody happy during that time.
Oh, I sang.
So I'm not guessing you guys are going to need much out of me unless somebody has some questions, but we should have gotten all that out of the way last week.
Yeah, I think so, Gary. Just be there in case there are any questions, but yeah,
Right on. I'll be here.
it'll be just the formality. But
Looking forward to getting back up there. It's been a while.
indeed. After we dig out, maybe.
Yeah. Come up and build a snow house.
Did you guys get dumped on?
We're about to get, they say maybe up to 60 inches.
60?
Yeah. We'll
Like-
see. That's a very optimistic number, I think, but
Yeah. They're saying maybe 6 to 12 down here, but wow.
I think it depends. There's like a model that showed like big time snow, but
That's
Yeah.
probably the most extreme model, yeah.
yeah, I kind of hope for it though. Except for we're going to Arizona tomorrow, so
Oh.
we have big In-N-Out burger plans. That's what I've been telling everybody.
It's good to have goals.
Yeah.
Hey, Jonathan, I went to the In-N-Out there in Aurora a few days ago, and I thought, well, 2 in the afternoon, or it was almost 2:30 in the afternoon. We might have missed a lot of that line stretched. I'll bet it was over an hour. I'd bet money on it.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That place
I
is
mean,
just
2:30 in the afternoon. That line was 120 cars, I promise.
you talk about your gold mine.
Yeah.
I hope it was worth it.
Chuck, did you know Dorothy Kyler?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. She's the first woman mayor of Idaho Springs.
Yeah, I know her pretty well, actually.
This is Women's History Month, and I was thinking that would be a real great person for Idaho Springs to honor potentially.
It's interesting that she's the first one that introduced the sign code, and boy, was that a cat fight. That we were still meeting underneath the library at that point.
Wow. That was a while ago.
I did a lot of stuff a while ago. If I could only remember it.
All right, it's 7:15. We're going to go ahead and get started. Anybody tuning in with us tonight, I'm sorry about the getting start of our regular scheduled city council meeting tonight, but it is March 8, 2021, 7:15 p.m. And as I said, regular scheduled city council meeting. And can I have roll call, please?
Michael Hillman,
Here.
Scott Pennell.
Here.
Chuck Harmon,
Here.
Bob Boland.
Here.
John Curtis.
Here.
Art Cacavelli,
Here.
Jim Clark.
Here.
All right, let's please stand for the Pledge of the Allegiance. I pledge the allegiance
To the flag
United
States of America,
to the
the
republic
republic for which it stands,
One
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
justice for all.
liberty and
liberty
justice.
for all.
Seated. Okay. We have an agenda in front of us tonight. Can I get a motion for approval, please?
I would move that we approve the agenda for March 8th, 2021 meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All right. Does anybody tonight feel that they have a conflict of interest with the agenda that we just approved? Okay, hearing none. We will move to the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes from February 22nd, 2021.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Art second, Scott and Art, discussion. Sounds like all the minutes were correct. Good job. And all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 Okay. Now we will move down, and I hope Jim's audio is working. I need a motion for approval of the bills.
I'll move to approve the bills to March 8th, 2021.
And do I have a second?
I second.
All right, discussion. Jim Clark gave me a call before the meeting. Jim, we have the answer. Just ask your questions and we'll verify it and talk about it for everybody.
Great, thank you so much, Mayor. The first one I had was, I was unsure. I thought that the auto sport collision repair at $10,333. I didn't know where we were as far as insurance went for when we have an accident or whatever, through whether it's the PD, Public Works, etc. Do we have some sort of a cap where we pay up to, or is there just a deductible per?
So I'm going to let Andy go ahead and answer that question for us.
I can answer that. Under our insurance policy with CIRSA, we do have $1,000 deductible. So, and the way it works is CIRSA reimburses the city. So we go ahead and pay the vendor directly, and then CIRSA cuts us a check for the repair.
Oh, right on. So we'll get a check back for $9,300.
Yes, I think there was the initial estimate, and then there was more damage found once I got into it. So I believe we received both checks.
Makes pretty good sense. Yeah, the crash was pretty big. I worked them all.
Received those checks back? That reimbursement, we've already received those?
Yes.
Okay, good.
But we, the city, are responsible for paying the vendor. And I think that's actually happening tomorrow, isn't it, Chief?
Yeah, I'd like to drop a check off to him tomorrow. We've had the car for a couple days and it's running well. It seems like everything's tight and put back together, so I feel good about it.
Thank you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy, because it might have to do with your question.
Go for it, sir.
Yeah, so is the police car or a police vehicle that was wrecked in a chase? Is it not?
Correct.
It is.
And that individual had made attempts even to collide with police vehicles during the chase. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So I saw that $10,333 bill, and I thought that perhaps the city should take the necessary steps so that we receive some type of reimbursement, through the courts. I mean, I just don't think it'd be right to ask the citizens of Idaho Springs to pay for something so egregious. Perhaps the restitution, at the very least, to reimburse us for $1,000 deductible we had, if not more.
Well, Chuck, that would have been awesome if they would have caught the guy. Instead, we balled up 3 patrol cars and three different divisions of law enforcement through the county, and we never caught the gentleman. So
Thank you, Jimmy.
there
I
is
did not
nobody
realize,
to
I did not realize we never caught him.
Yeah. So there's nobody to seek reimbursement from. So there's what we get.
I got you.
All right. And Jim, since your audio is cutting in and out, I'm gonna ask the other questions and get you some verification on it. One, Jim was asking why our hauling numbers have gone up for our sludge hauling, and I contacted John Bordoni, and he can one that and our electric bill has gone up at the wastewater plant, and I'm going to have John to talk about both of those and why he feels that this has happened.
Actually, since the new plant has started, our sludge hauling has gone down. They typically haul about 4 dumpsters out of there a month, which totals about $2,800 per month, about $33,000 a year, as compared to the old plant when we had to have it dewatered, which we were averaging about $70,000 to $80,000 a year. So it just depends on how much flow we have as to how many dumpsters we have to take out of there, basically. As far as electrical, the new plant, we really didn't have a great idea of what it was going to cost to run that since it's been built. I mean, it has 3 new blowers and the pumps and everything there. So I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Clark.
John, sorry, sir, but this total on McDonald Farms was 5,139.07.
That was since December also.
Oh.
If you look at the dates on it, it's from December 12th, I believe, or 21st.
Oh yeah, 18th, I see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I did not notice that. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, it averages about 4 times per month.
I'm sorry. And then, like the mayor said, sir, the Excel Energy. Do we still have our Excel guy on here? Maybe we can beat him up a little bit.
And I'm not sure if there was a rate increase from Excel or not, to be honest with you, but unfortunately, I think that's about what it's going to run that plant.
5,000 a month plus or so. Is that correct? I'm sorry. I'm trying to find it. I can't find it.
Yeah, I think actually this month it was almost 7,000.
Jeez.
Hey, Andy, would you pull us a report over the last 8 months? Just put a report together for us for our next meeting to show kind of what we've been paying over the last 8 months and where it started increasing, see how we can connect that with the new plant. And then when John said that, also more pumps, more filters, and things like that is gonna use more power. I'm interested in seeing that. I'd have to go back and look at my other packets to really look at the electrical, but Andy will pull together a report for us for our next meeting.
Yeah, because it shows the new treatment plant is 6,318.74 for the month. Mr. Bardoni, you think that'll be about average though?
Yeah, I believe so.
What and why so much?
It's just running the blowers for the aeration for the pre-EQ, and that's also where the press is for the cake, and there's a few other pumps in that too in there, but
they just run crazy amps. Is the demand for those items obviously? Yes,
they do. They're supposed to be efficient, more efficient than the old blowers, believe me, but they do take up a lot of electricity.
John, what sort of power is at the new facility down there? Are there a couple different legs of 440 down there to handle the amp load, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all three-phase power into that.
Wow.
Both
Okay.
old and new plant, which that is more expensive also in the long run.
Scott could help me on that. I don't know much about power except for don't touch it.
Yeah, the other thing is they sell charges on peak demand. So
Yes.
once you turn on a couple blowers and drive that peak up, that's what you get paid for all month, even though you don't use it. And I've argued with them for years about that, and they won't back down.
Okay, anybody else? Any other
I'm
questions?
sorry. So Andy, one more question. So we'll actually see that check from Auto Sport Collision back to us less than deductible next month then, is that correct, sir?
I believe we've actually already received the checks, the reimbursement
Oh,
checks
cool.
from Sursa. They're pretty quick.
Gotcha. So how come it is they don't cover the actual incident thereof like normal, where they make it like our let's say for instance our city or a government entity pay up front? I don't, how does that work? I mean, is that pretty normal?
Yes, I mean, we pick the shop that we want to go to as long as it's one of their approved shops. And
Yeah,
then we send the appraisal into them or the estimate into them, and they pay on that estimate.
Gotcha.
I think in this
Okay.
case, Chief, they might have even sent out an appraiser, their own appraiser, didn't they? Our insurance company, I think they might have.
Yeah, they sent out an appraiser first. So
Yeah.
I went down to that auto parts place with that appraisal in hand.
Perfect. Chief, Andy, Mayor, thank you guys. John, you as well. Thank you guys very much for answering those. Probably appreciate it, fellas.
And I want to thank you, Jim, for calling me ahead of time so I could get the information so we didn't have to say, and I'd like to relay that to rest of council. If you have questions, especially on the bills, call Andy or myself or Diane, and let's try to get the information so we have it ready for our meeting. So this was perfect, Jim. I'm glad that you did it ahead of time. Saves us a lot. Like you said, y'all don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on this. So that's why I called you, Mayor. So I really appreciate that. And it worked out really well.
Right.
Okay.
Mayor, yeah, and thank you so much for taking my call, being candid about it. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Okay, can I have roll call, please?
I have a question, Mayor. I'm
Yes.
sorry, it's a minor question, page 5, Community Managers Institute. One is for planning services for the city. One is planning services for the projects. Number one, are those reimbursable from someone? And I thought she was going to give us a detailed report on when she charges us and what it's for.
Andy, do you want to answer that?
Yes, I can get you a copy of that invoice. I'd be happy to do that. That does have the breakdown. She broke it out. And some of those charges on projects are reimbursable, some are not. And the ones that are the ones we have development agreements with the applicant, and that would be in the case where they've already submitted an application. But some of these aren't to that point yet where they've submitted an application. They're pre-application, so they may not be reimbursable. But I can certainly get you a copy of that detailed invoice.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you, Andy.
You're welcome.
That's all I have.
Any other questions, council? Okay. Diane, can I have, do you have something else, Jim? Okay. Diane, can I have roll call, please?
Michael Hillman,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Dale Carmen,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes,
Jim Clark.
Yes.
All right. We will move down. Do we have anybody sign up for public comment, John or Diane?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll go down to our resolutions. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll move to approve resolution number 5, series 2021, a resolution amending a policy for reimbursement for safety shoes, boots by the city.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Now we got Art second. Discussion.
Is this a new requirement that we have, or they've always been required to have the safety shoe boot?
It's a requirement that they have the safety shoes and or boots. This resolution hasn't been updated since 2006. So after discussion with Andy, we decided to up the reimbursement cost.
Yeah, and I can speak. I don't think 150 covers most steel-toed boots, probably even.
The prior one was $95.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they might have to put a little bit out of their pocket, possibly depending on what boots they select. But I like the idea of giving him more money.
Is there a description on the boots? I mean, you can go out there and buy steel-toed sneakers, you know? I mean, really?
I think that would be up to the supervisor to supervise what kind of shoe they have on.
Currently, we do not have a requirement for the type of boots that we have, as long as that they are steel-toed. Most of the guys do buy the lace-up or slip-on steel-toed boots.
All right, any other discussion? Andy?
Carmen did have one suggested change, and that's on the last bullet. And she's suggesting that the last bullet, rather than referencing an employee who leaves service would get $150, just saying the amount of the reimbursement. So not having a specific amount that would be reimbursed. So that last bullet would read, an employee who has been reimbursed under this policy and who terminates employment within 90 days of the purchase date of the shoes, boots, shall have the amount of the reimbursement deducted from her final check. So again, just taking out the 150 and just saying the amount of the reimbursement, whatever that is.
Thank you for that, Andy.
Okay.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
can we make that like $300 deal?
$300?
Well, steel-toed good work boots are certainly that much.
So
Am I out of
John Bordoni, did you come up kind of a number that you felt was a sufficient number?
Typically, I spend about $225 on a pair of mine, and I wear the Ariat steel-toed boots. I would be more than happy with even just $200 on the reimbursement.
Yeah, I would say 200 would be fair, because I think you can get some boots below 200, some boots a little above 200.
Exactly.
Okay.
I would go with 200.
Everybody's good with that. So why don't we redo the motion up to $200 reimbursement?
Motion doesn't mention the amount.
That's just well, in our paperwork though, there was $150.
Okay.
If we're going to modify the motion, I'd like to go ahead and add in up to the amount. So
I'll move to approve resolution number 5, 2021, series 2021, amended that it state the amount to be $200, a resolution amending a policy for reimbursement for safety shoes, boots by the city.
Up to 200?
Up to 200.
All right. Do I have a second?
I second.
All right. Another chance for discussion. I would say I'm glad that we have folks in this group and on council that are familiar with the cost of it, because I would have had no idea that these steel-toed boots were, $200 to $250. Yeah, so I'm glad that we have council members that know what these boots really cost, and ones that are effective and aren't gonna, wear out in 6 months. Any other discussion? We have roll call, Diane?
Michael Hillman,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Doug Harmon,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
Right, motion passes. Okay, we're gonna move down to our, we've got an ordinance, second reading. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve ordinance number 4, series 2021, an ordinance repealing and reenacting, Article 2 of Chapter 11 of the Idaho Springs Municipal Code concerning river outfitter permitting requirements.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Chuck, second. All right, discussion? Okay, can I have roll call, please?
Michael Hillman.
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Doug Harmon,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
Right, motion passes. All right, we have our finance officer with us, Lorraine. Good to see you. It's been, what, a month or so?
Yes.
Very appreciative for you to come in tonight to walk us through real quick of what our financials are looking like right now. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Good to see you too, Mayor. Hello, everybody. I'm going to share my screen with you, and you should be able to see the January financial statement for the town, the city, I'm sorry. The February one should be completed in mid-month, so you'll have that, I think, maybe as soon as your next meeting. January is kind of an unusual month in financial statements because a lot of the bills that come in January are actually for the previous year. So sometimes you don't see a good reflection of what's happening in the first quarter yet. And a lot of your revenues don't start to come in until some different months as well. But nevertheless, we should take a look at it. I just want to let you know that probably the first quarter is when you start seeing some more generally meaningful numbers, although these certainly can be useful as well. There will be some year-end adjustments that will affect these numbers as we see things that might have gotten posted to January moving to December as the audit preparation continues. But starting off with
Lorraine? Hi, it's Andy. Would you mind enlarging that a little bit if you could?
how's that?
Thank you.
Better. Thank you.
Andy, Lorraine,
Yes.
I'm saying, I think he called you a different name.
Oh, I answered to it. So this is your first page, which is accurate. It doesn't change from month to month based on the items that I just mentioned. This is your combined cash statement. And again, you have $7,355 at the end of January, all of which is allocated amongst the funds. And I always highlight the general fund amount, which is $1,256,000. And that'll be the starting number on the financial statement balance sheet for the general fund, which I'm going to now. So there's $1,256,000 in the general fund. You've got other assets and liabilities in that fund. And we go down to the fund balance, and this is an initial amount of beginning fund balance before all of the audit adjustments are completed for last year. I expect this number to go up a bit and probably be closer to what you had considered when you did your budgeting. Then we get into the revenues and expenditures on the next page. And these are more telling. They do show what did come in during the month. And looking at the 2019 actual to the 2020 actual to the actual in January this year, you can see your sales tax has continued to climb each year. So that's good. Use tax varies based on building activity, and it appeared like there was some building activity in the other line items, such as building permits down in the next section in 2020 that you don't usually experience in January based on 19 and this year. These are your top 10 revenues that are highlighted here. So your marijuana special sales tax is slightly higher than the past years in January. Road and bridge kind of bounces around based on fuel sale, well, various items. The highway users is based more on fuel sale, and it's fairly constant. It's not quite as much as 2020, but better than 2019. Your fines are lower than usual, and I'm sure you know because of the COVID and lack of lessened activity, and in your municipal court, it's lower this year than usual. Your lease rental income is the same, and looks like you're in good shape there. I'm going to flip through to page 12 instead of going through each department's expenses. As I mentioned, those bounce around in January, where a lot of the bills for January are actually posted back to December because they were for work done in that period. But your general fund totals for fund expenditures for the period were $314,000. And a lot of the reason that that's big has to do with your payouts for some of the CARES grants of about $41,000 that went out in January. Generally, each month is about 8.3% of the year. So I do believe because of that $41,000, this is slightly higher than the 8.3%, but it's not concerning at this point in time. There may have been some expenses you were holding off to start buying until January that got purchased in January as well. And also January, usually you pay things that are annual expenses, certain insurance premiums and memberships and things like that that are due at the first of the year. I'm going to skip through the cemetery fund because there's nothing really happening there. And get on to the ramp fund. And its fund balance is close to what was budgeted, a little bit low. And again, that will probably change as we accrue some revenues back to last year that come in January. Your expenditures for the year are none so far. Your improvement fund, oops, I'm sorry, I flipped too fast on that.
Yeah, what page you on, Lorraine? I'm sorry.
I'm on page 21.
Okay, you didn't say that. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were looking at a hard copy. I thought you were looking at my screen. So I'll keep doing that as I go forward.
Thank you.
So page 21 is the ramp fund and I'm sorry, the improvement fund. And it starts the year with a good fund balance of 4.6 million. And again, that may change as we move toward the audit of last year. Your sales taxes, again, have increasing from January of 19 to January of 20 to January of 2021. So that's good. Major revenue going up. Now I'm going to page 23 to look at the expenditures. And very little is happening so far in the improvement fund, naturally in January. Moving on to page 24. This is the Conservation Trust Fund, and its beginning fund balance is $86,000. This is the lottery funds. None of that has come in yet in 2021. It comes in quarterly, so you'll get your first payment in March. And page 26 shows no expenditures yet either. Page 27 is the 1% street sales tax, and there's your beginning fund balance, very close to what was budgeted, $1,444,000. So that's a good place to start the year with that fund. And the next page 28 shows the sales taxes, and again, the same story here, increasing year over year for January. And
Hey, Lorraine, can I ask a question real quick, please?
Sure.
Well, we talked about the ramp and the 1%. Where does it show what we have already paid to our bond?
I'll show you. And is there a ramp bond? Let me look here.
No, it's a street bond that we're using the 1% sales tax to pay for.
That would be the 1% street fund, Lorraine.
Right, right. Let me go down there then. So this is one of those oddities of governmental accounting where you're measuring the flow of financial resources for these governmental funds. and that long-term liability does not show on the face of the financial statements for governmental funds.
Oh, okay.
So on page 27, if this were an enterprise fund, you would show under the liabilities the outstanding amount. But since it's a revenue-based governmental fund, we show the revenues coming in, and then on 28 and on page 29, we show what's budgeted for the expenditures. In the budget column, you'll see the 205,000 for principal and the 420,000 for interest. In the financial audit, it will show the amounts still outstanding at year end in the notes to the financial statements. I can get you that information. It just doesn't appear in the financial statements that are produced in the accounting system because of it's a governmental fund.
Okay, thank you.
Shall I go on to the water fund, or is there any more questions on those governmental funds? I'll move on to the water fund. Oh. Page 30. Here in the water fund, you do see on the balance sheet the liabilities, including the notes payable at year end for all three of your notes payable there from the Water and Power Authority and the Colorado Water Conservation Board, and an amount that's due back to the general fund. So you show that in enterprise funds, but not in governmental funds. Those amounts will shift a little as we continue to prepare for the audit. It will change how the expenditure for the principal was treated and reduce this liability rather than show an expense for the principal payments in 2020. This fund has a total fund equity of $4.9 And again, you have those other funds that you fold into this that we'll get to in a moment for CIP. Going to page 31, you bill every other month. So January doesn't have any charges for services of note. Looks like a refund there. You had on page 32, the beginning of your expenditures. And we can look at the total on those, which are on page 33, and see for your operations subtotal, most years it's about 37, 39,000. This year so far 29,000. So there may be some bills that hadn't been received when these financial statements were closed. Or it may be that some bills that in the past might have started out in 1 year didn't do that in January of this year. Distribution expenditures are a little bit higher this year than the past 2 years, and no debt service payments yet in this fund. Going to page 34, wastewater. Same thing here. If you look at the liability sections, you see all of the funds and notes listed there. Then going into the revenues and expenditures, we see very few revenues in January, but their expenditures are starting up. So we'll compare those January expenditures between the 3 years showing on page 37. A little bit lower this January. Sorry, I didn't mean to change places. In the operational expenditures, collections a little bit higher, and overall about the same as 2019. Stormwater fund doesn't have much activity. I'll just breeze through that one. Then you have your water CIP, and it had about 46,000 in fund equity and no transactions in January. The wastewater CIP has that negative amount showing there as the nets against the wastewater fund that had about 11 million total when they're netted. It had a loan and grant come in January and no expenditures. Police pension fund, again, this is just a placeholder, and then nothing is really happening there until the pension payment is made to that fund later in the year. Happy to answer any other questions.
All right, council, any questions for Lorraine?
Lorraine, on that column to the far right, which is a percentage of year-to-date actual, right?
It's the year-to-date actual versus the total budget for the year. Yes.
So shouldn't some of those be negative if they're less than the year-to-date actual, or?
If the year-to-date is more than unless there's a credit there, it won't be less than the budget. It'll either be 0% of the budget or some percentage of the budget.
Okay.
Council, any other questions for Lorraine? All right, Lorraine, thank you again. I think this is very beneficial to all of us to hear these monthly updates so we can keep up with it. You know, and the information that you're providing, again, you know, learning something every time that you present to us, something new. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. My pleasure.
All right, council. Very good. We will move on. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we got Andy Marsh, City Administrator. Andy?
Mayor and council, you have my report with 2 requests for action, please.
All right, can I have a motion, please?
I'll move to approve a proposal from the Colorado Mountain Bike Association COMBA at $100 per hour, not to exceed 10% of the total project cost for project management services related to the construction of trails in the Virginia Canyon Mountain Park.
We'll have a second.
Second.
Second, Jim, I believe Jim Clark was second. Discussion. All right, roll call.
Michael Hillman,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Chuck Harmon,
Yes.
Bob Baldwin,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli, Jim Clark.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Hey, Gary, glad to have you on board, part of our city family, because now that you've been approved and we've got you under contract, that means you're part of our family, you know, going forward. So welcome.
Awesome.
I said, we're looking forward to working with you and getting this
I
thing.
thought I'd already made that level, but it's good to know I got there.
Do what?
And I thought I'd finally already managed to get in the family, but
You know, until we
good to finally be here.
well, we put a price on our kids and how much it costs to take care of them. You know, we have to wait for the vote. So no, welcome, Gary. We're excited about getting this project going, and thank you so much for all of COMBA's participation and helping us get this thing moving along. So can't thank you enough.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to getting this rolling, finally breaking some ground, getting some trails built up there.
Okay. All right. We have a second motion, action item for under Administrator Marsh. Do I have a motion?
I
I'll
move
move
to
to, go ahead.
move to approve a small communities water and wastewater tier 1 grant application to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment in the amount of $30,000 with a $30,000 match from the city for the purchase and installation of chemical dowsing equipment at the Water Resources Recovery Facility.
I second.
All right, discussion.
What chemical dosing?
John?
We do have Michael Catalinich online with us as well. He might be able to help with that response.
Yeah, I've got to find my mute button on the kids' TV movie as well as the computer. So this would be for chemical dosing equipment on the front end of the process if for nutrient addition, if the BOD was too low or the ammonia ratios were too low, as well as metal salts for phosphorus removal if needed. That could go in one of 3 places in the process, either at the front in the middle or just upstream of the filters. And then the third and final chemical was pH adjustment if needed. And we're not anticipating that, that these chemicals are necessarily going to be needed on a regular basis. It's something that was value engineered out of the project to meet budget, but there's an opportunity to get a 50 cents on the dollar grant that we figured we may as well apply for. And then if we're successful, we could take that back to the council for confirmation that we want to proceed with that. All of the matching funds would be coming out of contingency dollars that are currently set aside with the Project 2 expansion.
So do you have pros in here that read that?
We don't. So it's going to be coming out of the composite sampler and laboratory analysis. It's looking at the ratio of VOD to ammonia is the main one. And that's not an automated probe that's looking at it. It's a grab that goes to a lab or the operators run in the lab.
Yeah, you're behind the curve then.
Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Michael Hillman,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Doug Harmon,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. All right, Diane, City Clerk, do you have
Mayor
anything?
and Council, you have my staff report for your review with no request for action.
Any questions, Diane? All right, thank you, Diane. We'll go to the PD. Chief Hamschmidt.
Good evening, Council. Chief Malaka submitted the staff report, and on that staff report, there were 2 requests for action.
All right, thank you. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve $54,569 to Spradley Bar Ford to purchase replacement vehicle.
And do I have a second?
I second.
Discussion. So we made the decision to go ahead and allow Chief Malanka, before he departed, to put this together, work with the Ford dealership, and I believe that Chief Malanka and Chief Hamschmidt worked together to make this happen. They had one in stock, so we didn't have to wait on it. And it's nice to be able to have that vehicle arrive before our new chief comes on the scene. So thank you for making
One quick question. Chief, that vehicle complete, outfitted, ready, police ready, minus obviously graphics, stripes, etc. But police packaged at $54K. Is that correct, sir?
Right, that will also include the all the wiring and lights that were actually put in from Ford. So,
Yeah,
so there'll be no additional expense as far as, putting lights and sirens or any of that into it. The only thing that we'll need to add to that is a radio,
right,
and specific graphics depending on what the chief is looking for.
Sure. Seemed incredibly cheap for a fully outfitted, ready to go patrol vehicle, obviously minus our stripes, logos, reflective graphics, whatever we decide, or you decide, I guess, to put on the vehicle. But at 54,000, the cost of this seemed extremely cheap to me. So super great job if you shop that or etc. Against the others where this came in on a state or a government bid to where it came in that low. That's just an incredible feat as far as the price goes for what you get I don't think people understand what goes involved into an emergency service vehicle with wiring and lights, especially when it's factory built and you order it that way. So I would like to commend whoever was in charge of this, that this is actually a very, very, very exceptional good deal as far as money goes for what you guys are going to get.
I thought the same thing when I saw it. I thought that was a good, excellent price. Yeah, I thought the same thing.
You know, it kind of makes sense. So as they're building that vehicle, they're able to take care of all the wiring, and that's the big part of it, is all the wiring that goes throughout that vehicle. When they're doing it on the aftermarket, they're removing all the panels. You know, they're stripping the car down so they can adequately put in all the wires and electronics throughout the vehicle. So we'll try this and see how this works.
Well, I do believe it. A factual statement is that, let's just say a given patrol, like a state patrol vehicle, prior to a manufacturer offering that kind of things for a pursuit rated vehicle, as you guys are buying, whether it's pursuit quote unquote rated or not. The guys in Goldman were spending 200 and 300 plus hours. And this was by, inmates of Camp George West for state patrol cars, wiring and making sure these vehicles were, law enforcement ready to go. So, if you factor in some time versus money on this, this cost on this is a mind-blowing low to what you guys are going to get for the PD. So great job to whoever did this in the bid.
Any other
Well, I'd be interested, Jim, for your critique once we get this in, to look at it and get your thoughts.
All right, thank you, Chief Hamschmidt. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Michael Hillman,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Doug Harmon,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. We have a second action item under the PD. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve a temporary pay increase for Mark Hamschmidt from $31.93 to $45 effective March 2nd, 2021 through April 5th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Discussion. So Andy, I have a question. Oh no, I'm thinking about the wrong dates. Nope, I'm good. I don't have anything to add. Anybody else have any discussion or questions for clarification? All right, roll call.
Michael Hillman,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Doug Harmon,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
Jim Clark.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Thank you, Chief Hamschmidt, for being willing to step in for this next month. Act as our chief of police, take that responsibility and continue to move our department forward in a very positive and efficient way. So thank you very much. And we'll see that truck in a few days, right?
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. All right. Okay. Let's move down to Public Works. John, cover Public Works, water and wastewater for us, please.
Mayor and council, you have my staff report. I just have one request for action, and that's to purchase the replacement water filters for one of the skids at the water treatment plant. And then also to inform the council, we had just repaired the water line over 103. And when we had that extremely cold weather, unfortunately, a chain of events happened. The heater in the Highway 103 vault across from the school went out, which froze the pilot valves on the pressure reducing valves, which allowed the pressure to drop on that line that goes over the river. And unfortunately, it froze. And when it froze, it broke one of the expansion joints on it. So that expansion joint needs to be replaced. Michael Katalinich and Fisher Construction, we're looking at adding heat tape to that now that we've discovered a really bad failure that could happen to that. I think we need to take steps to ensure that that doesn't happen again. So far, it doesn't look like it damaged the pipe other than that one coupling. So we need to get that repaired. That'll be probably coming before the council before too long for repairs on that.
All right, thanks, John. Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve $112,472 to MPS MEM Tewsbury for replacement water filter membranes from line item 5472-7310.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion discussion. All right, roll call.
Jim Clark. Art Cacavelli,
Yes.
John Curtis,
Yes.
Bob Boland,
Yes.
Doug Harmon,
Yes.
Scott Pennell,
Yes.
Michael Hillman.
Yes.
Checking to see if we're paying attention.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, what'd you do that for, Diane?
We got it.
Switching it up.
Dang.
Hey, thank you all of our department heads doing a wonderful job and keeping us informed and keeping up with things. I've got just a couple of quick things to end our meeting tonight. One, if anybody's been downtown, you would have noticed that CDOT pulled their barriers back towards the highway and basically doubled the parking that we had back there during their construction. What happened with this is there's a document that when construction goes on the highway or there is a significant change of our historic character, the project has to apply for a 1041 permit. Knowing that the construction was supposed to stop in November and never did, worked through Christmas and through January, February, and we were coming up on spring break with no insight that they were going to have any portion of that parking lot open back up. So I and Andy pulled out what's called our 1041 permit that we approved for CDOT, and also had our legal counsel help me craft a letter to CDOT. We talked to CDOT, was able to work with them. What this 1041 permit could have done is the city would have been able to shut down the project because they were in violation of this permit. That means the whole project, not just our parking lots, but we could have shut this project down from 241 to 239. Of course, that's not what we wanted. Unfortunately, CDOT and Graham, the construction, the contractor, is not getting along very well. No communication, no one guiding or giving direction. It's just been terrible. So CDOT has a form called 105, which is basically a stop work order. And we worked with CDOT and the upper management of CDOT, say, hey, something's got to be done. We're in here, y'all need to get out of here and pull those barriers back so we can have as much parking as we need during spring break. And also submitted to them and showed them from November to current how much parking revenues we've lost. Of course, we can't base that all on the construction back there, but it was over $80,000. And I said at least half. Some is COVID related, but even if we just took at least half, that's 40 grand. And that's $40,000 to the city that we missed out on. So about 4 days went by, and Friday they started pulling it back. And Saturday, the parking lot has been open and expanded for almost doubling our parking in those two lots. So, I'm glad that CDOT was willing to hear us out and take that document to Graham and say, look what's fixing to happen. We can't have that. So here's your stop work order, get everything pulled back, and you can work behind the barrier, but you can't start working back in those parking lots until April. So that's what happened with that. Another thing that I would like to, I'm very proud that I got a call on the I-70 Coalition, and tomorrow afternoon I will be going down to the Capitol and doing a testimony about a transportation bill, and so that's going to be a lot of fun. This transportation bill is something, it's called gondola and tread share. These are carpooling entities that they wanted to form, CDOT wanted to form to help reduce the amount of cars on the highway. However, there was big hoopla about how that competes with Lyft and what's the other one?
Uber.
And what? Uber and Lyft. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to remember these tomorrow when I talk about it. But so we're trying to give big support so that they can move forward with this and implement this program and this app to help move people up and down the corridor, and and less vehicles with more people in. So it's the first time I've gotten to go do something like this, and I'm very excited about being able to represent our community in Idaho Springs by going in and testifying to this. All right, that's all I have. Anybody else have anything, committee reports or other?
I do have a question. I'm just wondering what the latest is on the World War II memorial in front of the library.
We're still working on that, Bob. We're going to need to bring, I think HPRC and Historic Sites and Facilities supposed to meet on Wednesday. Is that right, John?
On the 16th, on the Tuesday before.
Tuesday the 16th.
There will also be a community forum on that night to discuss the city's upcoming historic survey plan that was delayed last year. So basically the idea would be is to create a plan for how historic surveys will work in Idaho Springs in the future, which is a requirement for our CLG, which is Certified Local Government, which is the arm that kind of governs historic preservation in the city.
Good. All right, Steph's moving on.
And with that, Bob, there's been back and forth on the new landscape design for the library. Actually replaced that with like a stone with etched names in it.
Right.
And so there's kind of some back and forth on should we keep the existing one and redo it, or go along with what the landscape design that's already been approved at the historic state up at the state historical. Yeah. So it's okay to do it. It's just we want to make sure that one, people that have been affiliated physically and emotionally with that, and other, that they would be accepted of that if we changed it out to the stone engraved monument.
Okay, Nora, thank you.
Okay. Okay, anything else? All right, good meeting. It is 8:15 and meeting's adjourned. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.
Good night.